God bless you. God bless you. God bless every one of you. This is absolutely the day that the Lord has made, and we're rejoicing. We're extremely glad, excited in it. Hey, listen, I am Pastor J.E. Sturdivant, pastor of the Faith United Ministries. You know who I am. 7905 Fernham Lane, District Heights, Maryland. I'm here. We're in the very fine studios of Faith United Ministries. And I am so excited to have the ability to be coming to you by way of Church Talk Radio. Church Talk. Good to have you all in the house. And listen, we are extremely blessed today because we've got holding it down on the other side of the mic, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Bishop Luder, the owner, Bishop. The one that makes it happen. He is the one that's got us on there, and we're so very, very excited about having him today. You know, that's a great privilege. That means that even if I'm flunking today, it's already anointed.
That's good.
It's already anointed.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you so much, Bishop, in advance for covering us.
Yes.
We so appreciate that. Listen, YouTube family, we got you all. We're glad to see you all. Glad to have you all with us. And listen, YouTube family, we need you to tell everybody to switch over to the YouTube channel. Everybody's still trying to find us by way of Facebook and hoping that maybe if they don't come over to YouTube, we'll come back. No, we're going to stay over here and wait for you to cross over to the other side. Amen. That's what Jesus said. Let us cross over to the other side. Y'all still on the side where there's no peace, be still. We're trying to get you to come over to where we at. So I've got here with me today. I've got her. She's here. You know who it is. StephTheBest.net, .org, .com, the DOT, box of dots. .edu. She is here. Glad to have her here. Greet the people in Church Talking on YouTube, will you, Steph?
Hey, good afternoon, great people. I'm excited. It's the second dose. And I know Pastor got something to say. And I am ready to hear it.
Yeah, she said, I know Pastor got something to say.
He definitely does. Last week he left us high and dry. Like, he
had a silver
got
scene
it. Like,
result.
Yes! Oh my goodness. It was so
about.
Great. I'm telling you, he touched me to the point where I just was like, I'm in awe that I get to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And
my.
I'm telling you, if you're listening to this and you're not sharing it like he's saying, then you're doing the people around you a disservice. And you're doing yourself one too, because you're going to stay in a place where you can't really grow because you're getting the teaching, but nobody else around you is getting it, and they're going to stunt your growth at some point. So make sure you share this because I want everybody to grow together.
We got to grow together.
So
if
crazy.
we're going to go together,
we got to grow.
We got to grow together.
Mm-hmm. What's another G? Go, grow. What else you got?
I'm just, you
never got it. The anointing comes. It comes.
It comes and goes. And then I've got on the right of me, once again, y'all, you know who it is. One word, one name. All she needs is one mic, one mic, one mic, one mic. Josiah! Yes, she said, greet the people.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are glad to be here. I am excited, as Steph said, because she said it wonderfully. This is the second dose. This is what we do every Wednesday. Church Talk, we appreciate your support. YouTube family, thank you for tuning in every Wednesday. We come on live twice a day to give you some basic teachings. And it was so crazy because last week we always had like a topic we were going to talk on, and last week we didn't even go nowhere near the topic.
I'm telling you, I didn't get near
because we was talking about, you know, the first broadcast. And if y'all ain't tuned in this morning at 10 a.m., please go back. The beautiful thing about YouTube, because we just told you that we transitioned, the beautiful thing about YouTube is that you can go to the YouTube channel, J.E. Sturdivant Ministries, and you literally can see every episode, every show that we've done since we've been doing this since August 1st. So if you have not seen this morning episode, because I like that we, you know, transition to television now. This morning's episode, please do it because we were talking about dysfunctional families. And last week we kind of alluded to it, and then that ended up taking over the entire broadcast because we don't realize how relationships are so significant. I'm not going to reteach it. I saw Eartha Bay now. Thank you so much. I'm not going to reteach it, but definitely tune to it. And that leads to what one of the announcements we're going to make before we get into the teaching, because with the whole family piece and the relationship piece, we realize that in this day and time it's so needed. And with relationships, it never go out of style, it never go out of season. It's always there. As long as you're living as an individual, you're going to be in some sort of a relationship.
You're going to be relating with something. Something, you know. I mean, and that's the way God fixed it. We are going to, when God created everything, God had man relate with him, then he had man to relate with his environment, then he had man to relate with man. It's man to God, man to his environment, and man to man. Unfortunately, sometimes people relate more to their environment, meaning their stuff, than they do with their God and they do with their people. And so there's got to be a balance. You have to know how to value the people that you have in your life. You have to know how to value God. You have to know how to value stuff. So you have to know how to have that three-pronged relationship, and most people don't know how to do it. You know, they'll work all of the time, claiming that they're doing it so that we can have a better life, but then never have any time for we. How are you doing all that you are doing for us, but then there's no time for us? So there's got to be knowing how to balance this thing of relationship, because I can tell you that I love you, but then if I spend more time on the job, then it's going to look like I love the job more than I love you. So we're talking about the depth of love and how love is given and related, and you just not said it, the priorities, whatever you put first is what you're loving. The Bible says wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart is going to be. So some people say that they love, but then they don't put anything into it. There's no invest. I think you used the word earlier today. They don't put the investment into things. So where there is no investment, watch this, you can't get any interest.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you put money in the bank, you invest, you get interest off of it. So nobody wants to invest in a person, so that's why the person's not interested.
And what about stocks?
They either go up or they go down. And so the stocks have no value. You got junk stock relationships. No value. No value. No interest. That's what I'm just saying. Junk stock relationship. I'm just saying. But anyway, I cut you off. Go ahead.
So that's why we.
That's how we never got to the lesson last week.
That's how it went. This is exactly how it went. We started talking about relationships, and then one point led to another. But it all ties in together. Whether it's family, whether it's relationships, whether it's love, it's all connected. And as a result of the broadcast and the teachings, we're now going to be doing a thing where we're going to be having a Family Matters event. It's going to be a Family Matters event that we are personally inviting our family. We're family, and we are inviting you all to be a part. It has been asked, and this actually would be the first time that the entire family, I know that we've done something together,
we've done things together,
co-pastor and you have done something together, but not the entire family.
Not in a long, we tried to do something many years ago. I saw Sharon Wallace come up on there. Many years ago.
We weren't even adults.
No. And you know, and the thing that people have to understand is that as you grow, the family dynamic grows. Not the family, meaning it doesn't have to be the adding of any more children, but the dynamic of the family grows, because how you view family matures as you mature. You know, so there are different things that go into that, and then after you've grown a little bit and you've had some of your own experiences, then you bring a different dynamic to the family. You know, so there's some of the things that, you know, that's why you'll find sometimes when people want to see you and they've seen you, haven't seen you in many years, and now here you are 30 years old, they want to call you, oh, that's little Steph. That's little Stephanie. That's little Steph. It's like you do know that I'm no longer in third grade, right? You know that. You know, so people can't, when they have not grown up, then they want to keep you where they always remembered you, and therefore they deal with you from an immature perspective because they have not matured in how they view you. I keep on jumping. Every time we say something, it opens up another thing.
But it's so needed and it's so true, and we don't look at things that way. So this is why we encourage you all to come to our family luncheon. It's going to be a luncheon because we're going to feed you all. It's going to be a time where we're going to discuss matters of the family. We're going to have a family counselor who's going to be there to also give us the professional, educational background as it relates to counseling and helping the families. We're going to do some family activities, and it's just going to be a wonderful time of bringing unity amongst the families. So we invite you all. It's for a small fee that we're asking because I'm surprised at it, but for those that are 18 and above, for everything that I just listed, the fee consists of $20 for those that are 18 and above. 12 to 17. The age is 12 to 17. Thank you so much, Lisa Chu.
She's getting that there.
That's only $15. Yep. And 11 and under is only $10.
You can get your entire family in.
Yeah.
For what you normally would pay for two people to go out for dinner and a movie.
Yeah.
You know, you can get your entire family, and who knows, you can wind up getting healing. We're going to be talking with you about reestablishing your family traditions. Do you have a family tradition? Is there anything, you know, because sometimes we throw away stuff, you know, that used to make the family. For example, with our society, when I was coming along, anytime that you would have really issues, because the family always ate together. And so you would wind up having time to talk about how was your day, what went on during the course of the day. My children will tell you, we would go out, even when we weren't cooking around the house, we would go out every Monday. We were going to be over at Friendly's, you know, every Tuesday. You would be, whatever place was offering something, and we would be out there because that was when we could talk about how the day went, how things had gone. But then as children grow up, as everyone grows up, now everybody's going on their own schedule. So now, everything happens, you know. So now we'll come together for birthdays. We'll say, okay, for everybody's birthday, we have to come together. Whatever you all are going to do any other time, birthdays, we have to do something together as family, you know. And it's bad because, you know, because those are the things that are standard as tradition, to not do those things will make it look like you don't value your family, you know, because we make time for everything else. But then when you don't make time for family, it is as if you have made something else more important than family. And that pulls away at the fiber or the thread that holds family together, which opens the door for us to bringing in other people, as we talked about today, to try to take the place of family. So we invite everybody to come on and be a part of this. Bring your family. We've got something for the children. We've got family. It's not a game, but activity. That's the word I was trying to come up with. An activity that a family will do together. I bet you don't even know some of the people that you've named your children after. You don't even know what the connection was with why you named them that.
Or if you even have a family foundation.
A family foundation. What is it? What is the family foundation? Do you even know who you all came from?
Yeah.
Who did you all derive from? Who's the family matriarch? Who's the family patriarch? You know, and what was the root of that? And maybe we can deal with some of the roots of some of the issues of some of our family matriarchs and patriarchs, and we can see how that thing has become the very same thing that we're dealing with now, you know. So we want you all to come on and be a part of that. Bring everybody. We tried to keep it in a way so that no one was going to have to pay, you know, very, very high amounts by paying for hotel rooms and ballrooms and stuff like that. No, just come to our fellowship, our ministry, Faith United Ministry, 7905 Fernham Lane in District Heights, Maryland. We've got a nice size facility here, and we're going to be doing everything right here so that it did not, we tried to cut out everything that would bring a cost to you so you could afford to bring everybody in your family. And so my 96-year-old mom is going to be here. My 79-year-old mother-in-love is going to be here. My children, my like children, some of my spiritual children, you know, because, you know, many people, Steph, it's amazing when we go out and I introduce you, I say, yeah, this is my daughter, Janice, this is my daughter, Steph. And they say, oh, yeah, I remember them. I remember them. And they forget that you're really my spiritual daughter and not my natural daughter, even though you say, yes, I am. But, you know, they talk so much because they've seen us together for so many years until they say, yeah, oh, yeah, that's the one that looks like you. And so they make the connections like that because even if you were not born in the family, the more you are around the family, You take on the attributes, the looks, the attitude of the family that you are in. And so they think that you're actually, you know, my daughter. They say, I remember when you used to wear your hair like that, Pastor. Yeah. But we want to invite everybody to come and be a part of this.
Life changing.
And they've got time still to get tickets
you
and
still
everything
have
like
time.
that.
You can actually contact me, Jenny Sturdivant. If you want more information, we'll be, signing people up till the day of, because I know people said, I'm going to, RSVP the day before, and that's no problem. You can reach me at 301-736-2383. 301-736-2383. Make this investment. I promise it's going to be life-changing. And with saying all of that, some of the books that Pastor has written is going to be some of the topics that we discuss are going to stem from some of the things he's written, because do you believe that the books that he's written, the topics in some of these books stemmed from a lot of the things that he dealt with amongst his family?
Very own family issues.
His own family issues. And this is why we also encourage you to invest in these books. We talk about it every week. I'm going to give you his website. That way you can go on the website, you can read about the books, you can hear him talk about the books. And if you want to make an investment in purchasing a book or sowing a seed in somebody else's life, you can do that. And his personal website is www.JESturdivantministries.com. Again, www.JESturdivantministries.com. You can go on his page, you can get the books, you can actually select it and purchase it, and then we'll ship it out to you. If you want to know what's going on in Pastor Sturdivant's schedule and you want to be a part of it, you can also tune in, or some of the previous broadcasts, or some of the sermons that he's been teaching, because we've been putting snippets of his sermons on his page. You can do that and be in the now with Pastor Sturdivant on his webpage. And if you want to sow a seed to say, hey, thank you for all that you are, Pastor. You are a teacher, you are a mentor, you are a preacher, you are one who's accessible, you're transparent, you're loving, outgoing, and I love everything about you. And you've been doing this for over 30-something years, and we appreciate your service. Thank you. A lot of you all call him father, dad, uncle, all of that. If you want to sow a seed, you can do that. You can do that electronically. And the Cash App handle, because that's what we're doing these days, the Cash App handle for Pastor Sturdivant is the $, capital D, lowercase r, capital J, capital E, capital S. Again, if you just want to say thank you. And Gloria Montgomery, she hit me up. She said she put something in the mail. She wanted, because she's not electronic savvy, but she wanted to put something in the mail. So I thought that was great. God bless her.
Thank you so much. She's one of our faithful watchers and followers. We appreciate her.
And if you're not, electronic savvy, we can also give you the church address, which is 7905 Fernham Lane, District Heights, Maryland, 20747. You can also reach us by sowing a seed in the mail that way.
And it's a blessing that we have people that are just getting with us. We know that there are some who are not sowing, but they're praying.
Absolutely.
They are praying, and we want to appreciate everyone who is in any facet, any way that you are keeping this ministry lifted. We appreciate the seed. We appreciate your prayers. We appreciate your continual watching. We appreciate if you've been sharing this. And I know that every now and then someone will drop in, and they're only passing through. And they get something that helps them, that wakes them up with something. And we're excited about that, because it doesn't matter how big the tree grows, it started as a seed. And maybe you might not be thinking that it's that powerful right now, but we're dropping a seed in some kind of a way that's going to grow up and be a mighty oak and do something great in your life. And when you start talking about things, the one thing that we have learned, one of the many things that we have learned, is that the moment that you start talking about issues, talking about things, you cannot talk about things that you are not ready to deal with. And so the moment that you're saying, oh, well, I want to talk about thus and such, God says, well, let's deal with that. And it's like, no, wait, I wanted to just tell people that God says, no. If you're going to be efficient and proficient in what you are going to talk about, then I want you to have to experience this. I want you to have to live it. And Job said, okay, well, he says, let me just go through some of Job's stuff. Let me see if you want to handle some of that. And one of the things that the Lord told us in our ministry many, many years ago is that he said, there is not going to be a lesson that you teach or a conference that you go to, a sermon that you hear, then I'm not going to let you have to experience.
Yeah.
And what we have been going through and dealing with all through our lives have been as a result of what we have taught, what we have heard, what we have been believing God for.
Yeah.
And that's why it's almost dangerous for some people, saying, why is this happening? Say, didn't you hear a sermon on that? Yeah, well, now you've got to have a situation so that you can let what you have heard be pushed out of you. And so when we've been dealing with this thing on relationships and the dysfunction of the family, and on this particular broadcast, Church Talk, dealing in the areas of love, then all of a sudden everything concerning love is going to come under question.
Yeah, it is.
Everything is going to look kind of suspect. You're going to start challenging the concept of love. I was sharing in our ministry a few Sundays ago some of the things that I had taught on this broadcast concerning love. And after the message was over, because I was dealing with it from the perspective of giving God thanks, and that giving God thanks ought to grow in levels just like love grows in levels. The writer says, when I was a child, I thought as a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child. But when I became full grown, I put away childish things. And that was what was said concerning love. But if you take every area of your life and say, when I was a child, I thought, I spoke, I understood on this level as it related to giving. Or I thought, I spoke, I understood on that level as it related to worship. That means that in everything, there are levels. We go from faith to faith. We go from grace to grace. We go from glory to glory. There are levels in everything. And you cannot want to go to this level to being able to receive the blessing from God, and then, want to be on a high level for receiving a blessing, but then want to stay on a low level when it comes to giving.
Yeah.
There has got to be an equality across the board when it comes to these levels. And so when I was teaching this, many people came up to me afterwards and said, I did not really know what love was.
Yeah, that's true.
They said, I didn't know what love was. And I talked about love being patient and kind and suffering and all that. And they were thinking that, love is supposed to be, goose pimply and this, that, and the other and all of that. And I was talking to someone and they were saying, but it hurts. And I said, Jesus was crucified because of love.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, wow, yeah, because many have a concept of love. They have a picture of love. And what they're really doing is trying to take the term that has been given to use to manipulate someone to get what they really want. Because what you are trying to get becomes more important than what you have to give. When it comes to love, what you are trying to get becomes more important than what you have to give. So most people go into relationships saying that they are giving love, but way back behind it, it's really not about them giving. They're just using it to very subtly manipulate to get what they want. I'm going to share something with you because one of the things that, and I'm going to have Janice to get ready to read something. I'm going to take a very familiar passage of scripture. It's a story that everybody knows about, but we overlook some of the little things that go with it. And it's in Judges chapter number 14. She's going to get ready to read it. Judges chapter number 14. And I'm going to begin reading somewhere around verse number 10. And that's the story that's dealing with Samson. Now, listen, let me tell you about Samson, because everybody knows him as being either the strongest man. That's how they know him. Or they talk about him from his relationship with Delilah. And that's how they know him. But see, Delilah was just one of the many women that Samson was with. The whole thing is that Samson did not want to stay in covenant relationships. And I was sharing not too long ago, I forgot where I was, and somewhere recently, it might have been on my phone conference call yesterday or teaching, I'm not sure. But many people get more focused on contracts than they do covenants. Contracts can be broken because that's by man. covenant cannot be broken because that's by God. So people talk about the marriage contract instead of the marriage covenant. The marriage covenant says what God has joined together, no man can put asunder. But the marriage contract is why when I get sick of you, I can leave. There is a difference. You know, say, well, if I was you, I would just leave. The covenant piece is a bit more than the contract. And so people will say marriage is just a piece of paper. That's a contract. But the covenant, where I now view you as bone is my bone of my bone, and flesh is my flesh. How do I separate me from myself? And most people are never really taught or talk about marriage covenant. They talk about marriage contract. And so if I'm looking for marriage contract, then I'm about the superficial things that go into why I want to be married to you. But the marriage covenant is now, what purpose does God want us to establish by coming together? And when you're not considering what does God want to accomplish instead of what do I want to get, then you'll start looking at contractual things. Because whenever you get a contract, when we did our house, we were doing a contract. It says, do you want granite tops on your kitchen or non-granite tops? Okay, we can eliminate that. Do you want wood or fake wood? Do you want, no, you eliminate that. Do you want marble? Or do you want, you're gonna see contractual things you can replace with something else. But covenant things, this is it.
Yeah.
And most of us want to do covenant things in our heart, but contractual things with our efforts.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm somewhere with that. But nevertheless, when it comes to love, if love was really looked at as a covenant word instead of a contractual word, then we would not say it as loosely as we do. When you say the word, I love you, those three words, you are now, by virtue of saying, I love you, sir, you are telling this woman to put her future on hold and to believe that you are her future. When you say, I love you, sister, you are telling that man he never has to look anyplace else because you're going to be the fulfillment of everything that he wants. Those words, I love you, are such binding words, and yet we say them so easily until we say, well, I know I said that, but not this. Oh, I said that, but not this. And so the power of the word, I love you, or the words, I love you, locks someone in. And you can't lock someone in and then not want to take care of what you've locked in. I want to look at something very, very powerful because we've said I love you to everything and everybody. We said I love you to my dog. We said I love you to my cat. I love you to my car. I love my house. I just love these shoes. I love the way this dress looks on me. I love this hairstyle. And we say the word love so loosely until now when it comes to a person, we say, I love you. Then the question is, do I love you to the degree of my hair or my dog? Do I love you to the degree of my house or my cat? What's the depth of your love? And now I want to look at this passage of scripture because here you've now got Samson, and Samson has got his father, and his father's tried to tell him, Sam, listen, boy, I think you really ought to get with some better women. There's some better people in our tribe. You don't need to be going outside of the thing. The father is trying to give the son some instructions on who he wants to marry. And who he wants him to be or why. The father, the parent, has to have concern about who the child gets with because the heir or the seed or the ones that are coming as a result are going to be a direct reflection of the father. If the father and the mother have a covenant with God, which is how they got Samson, you cannot drink any wine. You cannot have any razor put upon his head. You cannot have any connection with dead things. There were certain criteria that had to be done in order for Samson to come forth. So now that Samson has come forth, he does not want to abide by the covenant that got him here. Well, I'm about to mess somebody up in it because most of us want to get here, but then don't want to abide by the covenant that got us here. I know what I want. I know what's best for me. I don't know, but you don't know what the covenant was that got you here. I know I am alive today, and I'm not where I could be or should be because I fought against the very covenant that got me here and got me alive. There was a covenant that my mother, who is now 96 years old, made with God so that I would not die when I was a child. There was a covenant that she made. If he would let me live, seeing as though I was a twin and my twin died, there was a covenant that was made. And when I was dying, my mother held me up. She told me, held me up when I was delirious, when I had 105-degree temperature. She's walking around the floor holding me, singing, "It's a highway to heaven. None can walk up there." And I lifted up my head in the midst of my delirium and said, "But the pure in heart." And she knew at that point God had told her there was going to be something great that was going to be done with me. And she had even told me a few years back, she says, "I knew you were going to do great things. I just didn't know how great you were going to be." There is a covenant that is on your life if you survive. So there was a covenant that was there, that was given, saying that this is what the boy is going to be. And many times I used to draw a lot. I do a little art stuff in my spare time. I would draw Samson. I'm drawing him as this mighty, muscular guy. But the record doesn't even tell us that Samson looked like that. It just told us that he had supernatural strength when the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. Just like the Bible does not tell us that Delilah was a brick house, as many of us try to say. It just says that she knew how to make him comfortable. And so we get these preconceived ideas about how he must have looked and how she must have looked because we already have in our mind what a strong man looks like and what a bad woman looks like, and neither one of them looked like that. I'm trying to help somebody in here because you're going after somebody based on what you think is going to be appealing from the look, and that might not be what makes him strong, and that might not be what makes her bad. So I want you all to get this just a little bit. Look at what it says, because now Samson says, "Dad, I want you to check this woman out." And Dad says, "Okay, well, I'm going to come on down into the feast." And look what it says in Judges chapter number 14, please, verse 10.
So his father went down to the women,
Father says, "I'm going to go on down there. I'm going to go, and let's go, boy."
and Samson gave a feast there.
Gave a party, yep.
For young men used to do so. And it happened when they saw him.
He threw a party because that's what
what they
everybody
used to
did.
do.
You know, but I was like, "Yo, man, I'm throwing this party. Come on, party over here. Come on over here." I said, "Man, Sam throwing that joint. It's going to be lit." Come on, man. Sam gonna do this. His father footing the bill. He gonna do this thing. Go ahead.
And it happened when they saw him that they brought 30 companions to be with him.
Yep.
Then Samson said to them, "Let me pose a riddle to you."
So now everybody down there, so Sam wants to show how clever he is. He says, "I got a joke. Riddle me this." He tells this joke and everything. Go ahead.
If you can correctly solve and explain it to me within the 7 days of the feast.
While we're here, how long that party gonna be lasting?
7
days.
That's a long.
7 days.
That's a cruise.
You know, it's like, no,
Yeah.
we're going to do this. We're going to be for 7 days. Do you know how well off he must have been to be footing the bill for everybody to eat for 7 days, day and night? Don't nobody go home. You know, think about it today. Renting out the hotel, renting out the ballroom. All the food, all the drinks, everything is catered. Bring an appetite, bring your dancing shoes, bring a change of clothes. You don't even have to bring a change of clothes. You're just going to be doing this all week long. Go ahead.
If you can correctly solve and explain it to me within the 7 days of the feast, then I would give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothing.
If you all can do this, I'm going to give
provide it to you.
30 changes of clothes and some linen sweaters, jackets, coats. I got
So
you.
you got it. But if you cannot explain
But if
it
you
to
can.
me, then you shall give me 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothing.
Now, all of y'all have to then give to me, because if it's 30 of you all, and I said I'll give it to whichever one of you can do it, then if you can't, then y'all got to take care of your boy. Come on.
And they said to him, "Pose your riddle,
Tell
that
us.
we may hear it." So he said to them,
Yep.
"Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet." Now for 3 days they could not explain the riddle.
He said, out of the eater
Came something to
came
eat,
something to eat.
and out of the
And
strong.
out of the strong came something sweet. Go ahead. And for 3 days,
Can I explain the riddle?
they couldn't figure it. I want you to see again. Here's another one of those times where we're seeing the 3 days, like Jonah in the belly of the fish for 3 days, and Jesus, in the grave for 3 days. That's a very significant thing. That's a theme that goes throughout the Bible. You're going to see those 3 days and 3 night things over and over and over again. Go ahead.
But it came to pass on the 7th day.
Yep.
That they said to Samson's wife, entice your husband.
Watch this. They now go to his woman.
Right, because they can't figure it out.
They can't figure it out. They go to her and start now getting to her and say, look, girl, you one of us. You one of us. Come on, go talk to your boy, talk to your man. You know how to get what you want from him. Turn on your charms. Do whatever you got to do. Help us get this riddle. We gonna hook you up. And here's a bad issue right here. This is a major issue. Even though because she was one from out of their group, but was married to him, she now has a greater kinship with them who she is pulled from than she did for Samson, who she was married to. Her connection with her history was greater than her connection with her destiny. Samson was her destiny, her future, but who she came from, the people that were her grow-up friends, her childhood friends, all of her friends, she was more in tune with them than she was with the one that she had said, I do too. Now that's the thing we can run all over the place with right now, because there are those who are married but still have a greater connection with the people that they are with than with the one that they are married to. They're more close with the girl that they grew up with, or their girlfriend, or with their boy. I gotta hang out with my boys, I gotta be with my boys, and yet your wife is here in the house. There's some connections that even though you may say there's nothing wrong with the connection, if the connection makes you have to choose between the one that you are married to, then that connection is out of order. Boy, I'm messing you all up right about now. I'm messing you up. I am messing you up. Please watch this thing. Now watch what it says, Janice.
Entice your husband that he may explain the riddle to us.
Entice your husband. In other words, do you know that they are literally asking her, be a hoe.
Yeah.
Use your womanly charms to get from him, get ready, for us. Get from him this information for us. The audacity. I'm always said this. I'm never concerned about what people say. I'm always concerned about why they thought they could say it to you. When people cannot get to you directly, they will get to you by going through someone that is close to you. They will manipulate who they can get to get what they want. Watch what they wind up doing with her. Go ahead.
Entice your husband that he may explain the riddle to us, or else we will burn you and your father's house with fire.
In other words, if you don't do this, we're going to burn you and your parents' house down. Now, we don't care how we leave you and your husband's relationship. And here, she did not care what happened to her and her husband's relationship. She was more concerned about her and her father's house.
Right.
So that now she's willing to sacrifice the relationship of her husband. I wish you all would see all of the dysfunction in this family now. See this, that she had joined herself to Samson, but did not really love Samson. She still had a greater love for her husband. I don't have time to really go through this with you all, but you all remember that Michal, Saul's daughter, was married to David, but she was never called David's wife. She was called Michal, Saul's daughter, because she was more connected with an old anointing, King Saul, than with the future king anointing, which was King David. And because she never accepted the role of being David's wife and held on to being Saul's daughter, she did not get the ability to even give birth birth to a child, because the Bible says she laughed when David came in dancing into the city carrying the Ark of the Covenant. You've got to be careful about relationships that you are holding on to when God is saying, I'm going to do a new thing. Here she is now in the bed of Samson, but her heart is in the bosom of her father.
Wow.
She was such a daddy's girl until she never became Samson's wife. She was such a daddy's girl until she never became the bride of Samson. And so she's now manipulating him. And you're about to see something very closely. Go ahead.
Have you invited us in order to take what is ours?
Now, you need to do this because you've now brought us to this party. And you're trying to take something from us now that you've brought us to a time of celebration.
Sure. Then Samson's wife wept on him.
Yep, she did what? She
wept.
She wept on him. Sammy! Sammy!
Oh, Lord.
She wept on him. Go ahead now.
Wept on him and said, you only hate me.
Watch this. Now, because you have not told me what I'm asking you about this riddle, you hate me.
Right.
She has equated
Right.
love with him telling her what the answer to the riddle is. You only hate me. Go ahead, watch this.
You do not love me.
You do not love me. So now in her mind, she is manipulating the concept of love. You are manipulating love, saying that you don't love me because you have not told me the secret of this riddle. And she would not even be coming to him had they not come to her. So she is now jeopardizing her relationship with him over somebody else. She is jeopardizing what she had with him for the sake of somebody else. Why did not they come to Samson? Why did not they come and talk to him or approach him? No, they knew that they could get what they wanted by manipulating her. And they manipulated her to get her to jeopardize her relationship for their satisfaction.
And this was all for the sake of garments.
Of garments. And it was at a party. It was a joke. A joke. To the point that they're saying, I'll kill your family over the joke.
Wow.
I'll kill your father over a joke. How many times have many of you who are listening by way of Church Talk, listening by way of YouTube, how many of you have thrown away what you had in a relationship because you sacrificed what you had for somebody else? You sacrificed the relationship that you had for somebody else who simply had a question. I want you all to be extremely careful about people who manipulate your relationship and you don't even realize that it's manipulating you. Watch what the text then says. Go ahead.
You only hate me. You do not love me.
You don't love me?
You have posed a riddle to the sons of my people. But
wait a minute. You posed a riddle to the
sons of my people.
Here she is now. It's all about her family. She doesn't care about the new family that's been established with her and Samson. This is his wife.
Right.
And yet she is more concerned about all of her brothers, her cousins, everybody else. It's kind of like you're in a relationship and the person chooses their family over you.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you let all of the family jump on me and beat me up and you didn't say anything? Why did you let all of your siblings come and jump on me? You ain't say nothing. Well, you know how they are. No, all I know is how you are because you let them jump on me. And see, there are a lot of people, you all can relate to this. You may not be in the Samson situation, but you can relate on being put in a situation where somebody chose everybody else over you and left you out there to fend for yourself. Go ahead, please.
You have posted video to the sons of my people, but you have not explained it to me.
You haven't explained it to me. Yo, I don't trust you like that.
Right.
I haven't told you because I know that if I tell you, you're going to immediately go and say it to somebody else. Here's some more dysfunctions. Why did he not trust her any better? What had she done that made him believe that she could not keep his secret? What has she done? Well, she is proving it right here that she cannot be trusted with intimate things. And sometimes people ask, I've had people ask me all the time, tell me what's going on with you. Tell me what's happening. I don't trust people enough. Why? Because they've had opportunities to prove whether they can be trustworthy. And you got to be careful who you tell your intimate things to, because you may be telling your secret to someone who is actually in cahoots. That's an old term, in cahoots with your enemy. Be careful about how you release. The Bible talks about various things, and it says that the one who betrayed Jesus, Judas, was somebody that he picked. A betrayer can only be somebody who is close enough to you for you to tell them the intimate things that they use against you. So you've got to be careful. Check a person. On one of these teachings many months ago, we talked about before you get into the relationship, check out the journey, because some people are close, but they haven't always been close. And you've got to see where they came from and know where they're coming from before you divulge things to them so easily. I'm always cautious. I'm cautious and call it side eye. But I look at people side eye when everybody's coming asking me, you come ask me about my kids, come ask me about my wife. I'm looking side eye at you. I got the phone call today. Somebody called me and wanted to ask me about somebody. And I said, I don't discuss that. And they said, no, I just want to kind of see, if you're there. I said, I don't discuss that. I don't discuss that. They said, well, I just wanted to know if you're fit. I said, I don't discuss that. And they're still going to say, well, I hope that this doesn't change anything between you and I. I hope that I said, I promise you nothing's going to change with me, but I don't discuss that. Because people are trying to see how far they can get into you. What kind of inroads can they make into you? Because they don't mind using you as this one did with Samson if it means that they even going to make you jeopardize your relationship. They don't care what you lose as long as they get what they want. You want to say anything, Steph, before I go?
You're doing great.
Okay, I'm going down that street again. Come on, Josiah, keep reading.
And he said to her,
Yep.
Look, I have not explained it to my father or my mother.
Wait a minute. I haven't told it to my family. I have kept this just to me.
Right.
I'm not slighting you. I haven't even told my people. Now watch this. He is saying, I have not divulged the intimacy of this with my family, while on the other side, she's already listening to her side of the family. He is showing that he was more committed to her than she was to him. He says, I don't talk to my family about stuff like this. I haven't told you, I haven't told my family. But behind his back, she was having discussions about him with her family. Some relationships are not equal. They're not, well, that's just who I talk to. Yeah. And people get upset when you say, no, what's between us stays between us. And the reason why that is so that you don't have these types of situations where someone is talking and telling things that are personal to people who may not be personal to the one that's having the problem. Just because they're personable with you does not mean that that's what the other individual would want to have put out there. They say, I tell it with people who have served as my adjutants, who have served as my armor bearers or whatever, and that is when you go into a room with me, if you're in that room with me, that pastor is trusting you because that pastor saw you come into that room with me. And because that pastor saw you come in that room with me, because I am trustworthy, then that pastor believes that he can speak openly with me and that you will be trustworthy as well. You cannot, I tell him, I said, you have to go in there and see, but don't see, hear and don't hear. Some would say, well, no, it should be whatever is in there, whatever. No, it is a matter of trust. If someone brings you into a confidence, they brought you into that confidence. Not everybody that you talk with into that confidence. And many people have ruined relationships and broke trust because they discussed outside of that circle of influence what was discussed. What's the saying? What goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know, people got more loyalty to Vegas than they do with people's feelings. They've got more loyalty to Vegas than they do with family members. They've got more loyalty to Vegas than they do with the BFF. Is that the right thing? What does that stand? What does BFF stand for?
Best friends.
Okay, best friends forever. They got more loyalty to Vegas than they do with their BFFs. You know, because they will wind up taking something that was shared personally. Maybe the person was having an off day, a down day. They weren't on their A game. And you talked about it to someone who did not have the ability to handle that level. And the person trusted you to be able to handle it. And you showed your level of immaturity. Please read some more.
He explained to her, I have not told my mother
I
or
ain't told my
father.
mother nor my father.
So should I explain it to you?
Why are you thinking that I should have told you when I ain't even told my people? You know why? Because she figured that if she was that loose when she talked with her people, she assumed that he was that loose when it came to his people. A lot of times there are those who think that because, remember we shared one time before that you'll wind up loving your neighbor as yourself. You only can love to the degree that you love yourself. So she figured, since I have loose lips when it comes to my family, I assume everybody's got loose lips when it comes to their family. Since I tell every secret as soon as I get it, I figured everybody tells a secret as soon as they get it. That's why every liar thinks someone is lying to them. Every thief thinks someone is going to steal from them because you give out of the reservoir of who you are. I'm always amazed when somebody comes to me and they say, well, I just knew what you was going to say. You don't even know what you're going to say. How can you know what I'm going to say? You don't even know what you're thinking. How do you know what I'm thinking? Please read some more. I hope I can get through this.
Now she had wept on him the 7 days.
How long she cried on him?
7 days.
You know, they used to say when I was going, they say the more you cry, the less you pee. This woman probably didn't have to pee for a week because she'd been crying for 7 days. All of this, not because of anything that Samson did, not because he did not love her, but because she was using every tool in her arsenal emotionally to get him to tell her the secret in order for her to tell her family. And watch this, she used that to try and make him prove that he loved her. All of this, if you loved me, if you didn't hate me, you would have told me the secret. All of this was for her to get him to deal with an emotion that she was not satisfied with what he was giving as love. She wanted him, prove it, prove it. Prove it by telling me this. But I've done all of this. Yeah, but prove it by doing this. Yeah, but I've done all of that. Yeah, but prove it. I haven't even done this with my family. Well, I want you to make me greater than your mother. Make me greater than your father. Make me greater than your family. Prove it. This woman had some unresolved issues backed by fear of her father's house and her being burnt. Remember, that's what they told her. We're going to kill you and your father's house if you don't get it. So now she's willing to sacrifice her marriage, sacrifice her husband for the sake of her family. I thought we were bone to bone, flesh to flesh. That broke that covenant. So the question now is, that while you're saying you want someone to love you, are you ready, as we say in the marriage vows, and forsaking all others, keep only to this one? That's why we hate the words obey, submit, die. Husbands got to be willing to die. See, but we don't want to use those words. Can you just leave that out the marriage vows, Reb? Leave them words out. Don't put that die and that obey and submit. I don't want them words in there because those are covenant words. You could not offer a covenant to God unless an animal died.
And when you think about the story, the sons of the people, they probably weren't even married. And it's always those who can't relate.
Who don't have.
Who don't have, who are single,
Yep.
that want you to do something that will compromise what you have that's different from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. We didn't open this thing up. And we are running out of time. Read one more line. See if I can get one more line in there because my time is up.
And it happened on the seventh day
Yep.
that he told her because she pressed him so much.
Finally.
Then she explained the riddle to the sons of her people.
Now, right now, I'm starting to sweat. And when I was growing up, we used to say, when somebody pressed you like that, they say, why are you sweating? Why are you sweating me?
Pressed
She
him so much.
sweated him, pressed him so much
He told her.
until he told. I'm out of time. I'm not out of word. Next week when I come back, I'm going to show you something in that story. It's going to blow your mind because it's going to show you some real emotions that really don't get told when you tell the story. Now, you've heard the story of Samson all your life. You've heard the story of Samson. You ever heard that right there? Because this is not Delilah. This is one of his wives.
Got it.
Yeah, he had, I keep telling you,
Yeah,
and all his wives, get ready, were prostitutes.
Yeah, that's
That's the issue.
That was a sign.
He says, I can't do them clean girls. I can't do them covenant girls. I got to do them raunchy girls. I got to do it. You know, they say, why good girls love bad boys? Why good boys love bad girls? Thank you, Bishop Luda. Thank you, Church Talk Radio. Thank you all. We appreciate you. You know who I am. I am J.E. Sternman. And who you is?
Steph the best.
And who are you?
I'm Janice.
And we want to thank Lisa Chu for making it possible for us to be coming on through the Church Talk Radio family. And we say, as we always do, some are on the air because they love the way they sound on the air. Others are on the air because they can afford to be on the air. But we're on the air because what? We got something to say. Said we got something to say. Told you we got something to say. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Hope you heard it.
I hope you get it. Go to a church tonight. Get in Bible study. We love you. Peace. Hey, listen, YouTube family, we love you. Come on out here
Holy
tonight.
Communion.
It's communion night tonight. We're going to do communion.
Breaking bread.
We're going to take the body of Christ,
Oh, breaking bread.
and then we're going to give you groceries.
Yeah.
After we take the body of Christ, we're going to give you groceries. We do our communion Wednesday night because nowhere in the Bible does it say the communion or the Last Supper was done during the day. I'm not trying to mess up your theology or mess up your church, but it's done at night. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, he took bread and blessed it. At midnight, the death angel went through the camp and the Passover lamb had to be eaten. It was always done at night. So I invite all of you all, come on out, be with us tonight. Very, very good time of prayer from 7 till about 7:30. A small teaching for about 10, 15 minutes just to introduce communion and then communion. And we're getting out of here on tonight. We want you all to come celebrate with us. We love you. From Faith United Ministries, from Back to Basics, Eyes of Faith Radio broadcast, and from Get Ready, Get Ready, Get Ready. Family Matters. We want to see you. We appreciate you. We out of here.